Welcome, welcome, welcome to the home of metal, a celebration of a musical genre that began right here in Birmingham and the Black Country.
There's something about heavy metal that once you get into it, it never leaves you.
It was very, very, very original. It was something quite new. And I suppose I had the advantage of seeing it grow.
Because it's so global that people forget where its roots are, and that's what we're here for, to remind them.
I wanted to find the heaviest riff in the world.
I knew it was something different. It was just that feeling you have when I really like this.
4 decades since heavy metal was unleashed onto an unsuspecting world. Home of metal at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery, along with art galleries in Wolverhampton and Walsall, honours a truly global musical phenomenon. The exhibition aims to celebrate some of the bands that helped put Birmingham and the Black Country on the musical map. From Black Sabbath, the founding fathers of heavy metal, Led Zeppelin, one of the world's biggest bands, Judas Priest, whose twin guitar attack paved the way for a number of melodic metal acts, Napalm Death, whose first 2 albums introduced grindcore, and finally Godflesh, whose brooding soundscapes pioneered industrial metal. The exhibition tells the story of how these bands embraced originality and brought something new to their respective musical scenes, establishing new genres and subcultures that continue to inspire to this day. The exhibition opens with archive footage from working factories from way back when. I grew up in an area exactly like this, where smoke billowed from chimneys all day, every day, and covered the landscape, the rooftops, even the grass was covered in soot. This is what gave it its name, the Black Country. And it was with vocalists like myself, Robert Plant, Ozzy Osbourne. We got that dust in our throats and gave us that screaming vocals that you hear every day. There's a great quote here from Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath's guitarist, where he says, "Your surroundings and experience influence your music, so it's important for people to know where that music came from." And it's very true.
Of the 29,526 dwellings housing 102,000 people in 1946, over 18,000 were back-to-back. 20,000 had no separate sanitary accommodation, and almost 4,000 had no internal water supply.
And how important do you think to the style of music that Sabbath eventually became known for? How important was that coming from Birmingham and or the Black Country, and how important was it to the music you were putting out there?
Yeah, I think it was very important, I think, because that was our bringing up, if you like, and the vibe of Birmingham and where we worked, the factories, and just the whole feel of Birmingham and the gangs.
Before more or less inventing the heavy metal genre, Tony's musical career was nearly destroyed when he suffered a terrible accident at a sheet metal factory. It's a story that's gone down in legend now about the accident you had at work, which could have stopped your guitaring career, really. Can you tell us about that?
I worked in a factory, and I used to weld metal, electric weld, arc weld. There was somebody who used to bend metal and then send it down to me, and then I'd weld it into like a regular thing, piecework type thing.
Yeah.
And the one time this person didn't come in, and they said, "Well, you're going to have to go on the machine yourself." And I didn't have the faintest idea about this machine. They sort of showed me, and I worked it a bit in the morning. Okay, went home for lunch, and I said to my mum, "I'm not going to go back. I don't want to," because I'd actually just got a job with a band that was going to Germany.
Okay.
And I thought, that's what I want to do. So she says, "You've got to go back and you tell them you finish
You've got to get a proper job.
You finish your day off properly, Oh, God, so I go back to work, and that's what happened. I was pushing the metal under the press, and the thing came down. And as it came down, I pulled my hand back and just pulled the ends off.
Blimey.
So it was, yeah.
And you invented a new way of playing now, didn't you?
Well, I had to.
You had to compensate.
I had to compensate.
Watch those flames get higher and higher. Oh no, please God help me.
What we were trying to do with the exhibition is create a narrative that put the ingredients together. So looking at the industrial backdrop of the region, looking at how the blues influenced the bands, looking at how they were first promoted by early managers and how the press, the London press took them on, and then looking later at the politics of the late 80s and early 90s and how all of those things helped to kind of reshape the genre over and over again over the last 40 years.
I've never ever tried to hide my accent. I've never denied that I'm from Birmingham. I absolutely am so proud of what I've done in my life. It's unbelievable. And I hope if anyone who watches this and they've got an idea, just hold on to your dreams, because you know what? Once in a while they come true.
This is a mock-up of Ozzy's mum and dad's front room from the 1960s. We all started out playing the same sort of gigs around the Midlands, and Ozzy's band, obviously at the time, were playing gigs like Henry's Blues House, right in the centre of Birmingham, which is where their musical influences came from.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. Say where you go, to the war pigs people know. Oh Lord, yeah.
Did you know what you'd started when you got them first riffs? Did you know? Did you think I've got something different here?
Absolutely, I knew it was something different. It was just that feeling you have when I really like this.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, but I really like it. And
It scared a lot of people, didn't it?
it
'Cause
did.
It was a shock to a lot of people.
It scared a lot of people, and particularly in America, as you know yourself, is what it's like there. That it really did bother a lot of people, and we had all sorts of strange people coming to the shows.
As well as the old school heavy metal at the exhibition, there's a room dedicated to the do-it-yourself political aspect of heavy metal, as really championed by Napalm Death. This punk metal crossover spawned a new musical form, and that was called grindcore.
Politics was vital for the formation of Napalm Death. It's partly through reading about political action, political ideas, that we decided to start the group. We were very influenced by the strain of punk music that was particularly focused on anarchism. And part of that was a DIY attitude towards creation. So everything we did was intertwined with that, and it's something that we took on as we developed the group, and also something that we appreciated in other groups, not only in terms of punk bands or post-punk bands, but also in terms of metal bands.
The exhibition in Birmingham ends with a room containing several pieces showing heavy metal's global impact. Another great bit of memorabilia here is a letter written by Lars Ulrich from Metallica to Brian Tatler from Diamond Head. Lars Ulrich had come over to watch the band, had nowhere to stay on the night, so Brian put him up in his house, and he sent him this letter to thank him.
It's glad to see it happening now, that's for sure, because it's probably long overdue in the origins of metal.
It's very much a sense of escapism and wanting to be something that you didn't think you could be. It's right in the centre of town, and it's about raising civic pride.
At that time, a lot of the people involved in those scenes found this music to be a step too far, whereas the people involved in it couldn't make it go far enough.
Metal started here. This was the origins of metal. These are the players who created this sound and developed it.
To find out more about the exhibition and events, go to sky.com/arts.